Today I'm going to be talking about loading a 243 bullet with a 243 Lee loader. And as I said, this particular Lee loader is a 243. And it comes with a little bit of paperwork, and it comes with what you see here. This is your priming rod, meant to put the primers in with. This is your powder measure. I recommend getting a precision powder measure to go along with this. This is your decapper rod. This is your decapping chamber. It also serves as to hold the back of the bullet when you're putting the bullet back in. This is two items here. The first part here is called the body and resizing die. Now it has a stop collar, it has a lock nut, and the whole part is the body and sizing die, and it's meant to be adjusted in and out for the length of the bullet you want to load. This is called a priming chamber in bullet seater. This part is the priming chamber, this part is the bullet seater, and we'll talk more about that later. You'll see it in use. This is all you really need to reload bullets if you don't need a full length resizing. This will do neck resizing only. If you shoot them out of a gun, it'll reload them back for that gun. It won't necessarily load them for a different gun. Lee loaders come with your standard complete instructions here. Leaves a few things to be desired, but pretty much covers all your steps in loading. There's a few precautions, and I'll talk about them as we go. It also comes with some starting loads, and I'll mention that again later. In what you're going to see in this video, I'm using my own load I got somewhere else. I didn't get them off here. There are books and tons of stuff on the internet. You can find all kinds of loads for your gun. But that's what comes in your complete Lee loader hand set for a 243. If you don't have new brass, you'll have to decap it. This brass is a 243 and it's been fired once. Here's the decapping base. You set the shell in there like so. Get your brass in there. Get your decapping rod in there. Drive your cap out. You see, it is now decapped and ready to be resized so that you can put a new primer in. There is your old used primer. You're just going to discard that. You're going to use the resizing die like I'll show you in a minute. You're going to resize this and put a new primer in. Once you've decapped your cartridge, this is a new one so it doesn't have a cap in it, but once your old one is decapped, you put it into the neck size like this. Get a raw head mallet or a solid plastic one like this and give it a couple taps to make sure it's in flush. Make sure it's in here flat. Take your priming rod, work it into the shell, make sure it's in all the way. Right here I've got a primer already ready. This is 243, so it uses a large rifle primer. You make sure that you're flat there. Make sure that's in the groove. And this is a part that you want to take a little care in. You want to make sure that you don't hit this too hard. Okay. You just take a lot of soft taps. Don't overdo it. Just a little bit more. Okay. That's perfect. Slide it out like that. And you've got a primer in there. Once you have your primed cartridge ready, set it in your decapper, which is also stands alone. Slide this down on there, your resizer. Now, Lee loaders come with several different starting loads, and this is a sheet that came out of my 243 Lee loader handset. But you can get tons of loads off the internet, or you can buy plenty of books. I chose to use a different load than that. I'm using 38 grains of IMR 3031. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of powder. It's very important that whatever load you have, use the kind of powder it says, because they all have different amounts of pressures they create when they explode. 3031, IMR 3031 creates a certain pressure. There are certain different loads you can use for a 243. I'm using 38 grains. And I like to use a funnel to help in pouring it in, because it will really keep you from spilling grains of powder. Now, Lee loaders do not require you to use specially measured powder. You can use the scoop. Now, it comes with a little scooper, which I showed you at the beginning. Now, I use that to dip my powder, but I actually have a powder measure I bought extra because I'd rather be more precise. But once you get all the powder down, it's all inside your cartridge now. This particular bullet that I'm going to put in there is a 60 grain 243 hollow point jacketed bullet made by High Sierra. It's a varminter bullet. Once you have that in there, it drops straight down the inside. If you look, this is hollowed out. This is meant to go over the end of your bullet so not to damage the bullet. And you just carefully slide that down in there. And I always like to have safety glasses on. Hopefully we won't need that, and then you just make sure you're centered over this, over your decapper. Make sure that metal touches the metal. That's as far as you drove it in. You usually use a vernier calipers or something, some measurement device, to measure your settings for your adjustments on how far you want this bullet to go into your cartridge. Now, if you look on your load that you're using, it's going to tell you how long it should be from the tip of the bullet to the end of the beginning of the shell, so that you'll know this is how long it needs to be. If it's too long, you need to drive this in farther, so you'll need to reset the adjustment on here. And this adjusts your depth for your length of bullet depending on what kind of bullet you have. If you have a longer bullet, 100 grain, this is going to have to be adjusted differently to still achieve the same length of case, cartridge, and bullet. So just make sure that is accurate as you need it. Make sure this is adjusted accordingly. Once this is adjusted, and as long as you're creating the same load, you're good. Now, this bullet is ready to go, because I already have my case sizer set to the right specifications for this bullet, and I've done that ahead of time. It took several tries, even with vernier calipers, to get that right. Sometimes you'll get it and it shoves it too far in, and it's good to have a bullet remover so that you can take these bullets back out and reload this bullet if you get it too far. If it's not far enough, you can still go ahead and adjust that just by driving it in farther. But that's the complete bullet. This is the kind of powder measure that I use with my hand Lee loader. Now, you can use some of their loads that just call for using the powder measure that's in the Lee loader, but these are much more accurate, and I highly recommend you get a set like this. And that's pretty much it.